Welcome to another presentation of MDA 8. My name is Matthias Gekeler. I am the Product Manager for MDA at ETAS. Within the next 18 minutes, I'd like to show you the new functionalities of MDA 8.5.5 listed here. Below the video, you can find jump marks to access a topic directly. First, we have a look into the start behavior of MDA 8. An obvious change of MDA 8.5.5 is visible just after the application has started. The so-called home page appears. It provides access to all relevant actions as well as the list of recently used configurations. Experienced MDA 8 users can start their analysis task without delay. Users who like to know more about MDA 8 have a clear structured entry point, which offers also access to What's New slides, manuals, videos, and more. Moreover, the License Manager and zip and send can be opened from the homepage. Further, in case of questions or suggestions, you can find your local support team and contact it directly. And finally, we use the homepage also to accelerate MDA's start behavior. Together with some changes implemented already in the last MDA 8 releases, an improvement of about 10% could be achieved in total. The second block of new features is about measure files. Since some versions, Inca 7.3 enables to store additional information in an MDF4 file. Besides measurement data, comprehensive calibration information can be included, namely the ECU description file A2L, the datasets for reference and working page as of start of the recording, and all calibration activities. In the File Explorer of MDA 8.5.5, all attachments are listed below the measure file. Certainly, you are aware that the attachments can include sensitive information and intellectual property. To remove such data before sharing measure files, you can use the export functionality. Additionally, you check beforehand whether the file comment or other metadata needs to be adapted as well. Then, a measure file export cleans up attachments and meta information reliably. In case you are interested in the attachments per se, you can extract these individually or all together into the respective files. During the extraction procedure, MDA 8 ensures that the file names are unique. The progress of creating the new files can be followed within the Export Progress view. Another enhancement of the export functionality relates to the time channel. Often signals are recorded in different time rasters. This can be seen well in the table instrument. Each timestamp has its own row. For a subsequent usage of the recorded measure data, it can be necessary to have for all signals the same equidistant timestamps. The export dialog of MDA 8.5.5 provides now such a possibility. By using the option Output Raster, any desired new time raster can be set. This raster will be applied to all exported signals. Accordingly, the table instrument does not show any gap for the exported signals. When exporting a signal, at each new timestamp in the export file, the last available real sample is used. This is visible in the synchronized table views and using the Fill Empty Cells option. For early timestamps, it can happen that no values are existing. When exporting into a textual file format like ASCII or TSV, the respective cells remain empty. In case of an MDF4 file, the corresponding value gets an invalid flag. The category filters introduced in the former MDA 8 release were enhanced. In MDA 8.5.5, additional categories are available for unit, variable class, functions, and groups. By introducing the category filters, the former column filters are obsolete. These were removed, and instead, ascending and descending sorting of the variable list is enabled. Let's have a deeper look into the new categories for functions and groups. The specific difference to other categories is that both are shown as tree views. You know such a hierarchical representation already from Inca's variable selection dialog and Windows File Explorer. Functions and groups can contain usually a large number of entries and sub-entries. Therefore, the search functionality is quite helpful, as it can reduce the number of listed entries effectively. The basic handling of the category filters is the same as before. Each selected entry acts as a filter criterion for the list of the shown variables at the right side. When a node is selected, this includes all of its subnodes, even if these are not visible in this moment. In case a selection in another category prevents that all subnodes can be selected, a square at the higher node indicates this situation. Currently, only few measure files include function and group information. In near future, Inca will add such additional metadata in MDA V4 files. Then, function-oriented variable selection will be possible in MDA 8 as well. One major functional enhancement relates to the shortening of display names. Already with MDA 8.4, a possibility was implemented to reduce the visible signal name to its relevant part. Especially for long signal names, this helps to optimize the usage of the screen space and to achieve a clearer display. For defining the visible part of the signal names, the docking window display name rules is provided. New is that in MDA 8.5.5, multiple rule sets can be defined and used. Each rule set can be a combination of one or several atomic rules. Such an atomic rule hides selectively the beginning or the end of a signal's display name. A rule set affects the display name only after being saved. If a signal's display name is shortened by a rule set, its tooltip includes another line showing the original display name. To activate or deactivate a rule set, just click the checkbox in front of the rule set. In case the relevant part of a signal name is located in the middle of the name, you can create your rule set step by step. In my example, I start by suppressing the beginning of the display name. Saving the rule set allows to see the outcome of the defined rule. When a rule set is selected in the list, it can be modified directly. With another atomic rule, I cut the signal name from its end. A change in a rule set is indicated by an asterisk. Again, by pressing Save, the rule set is stored and gets applied. As you see, my defined rule set works in principle, but it causes that some display names are shortened in such an extent that the signals cannot be distinguished anymore. By using the Apply To option, the rule set can be shortened. In my example, the signal names for the second rule set all start with CNT-FLT, which allows me to exclude all other signals from this rule set. The title for the rule set's area is called Rule Sequence. This shall indicate that the sequence has a meaning. Basically, if a signal's display name is shortened by a rule set, the signal is excluded from the subsequent rule sets. Therefore, my first, not so specific rule set prevents the specific shortening defined in the second rule set. You can overcome such a situation in two ways. First, the rule set sequence can be changed using drag and drop. Having many unspecific rule sets, this can still cause undesired shortening. Therefore, the second and more preferred way is to use the Apply To option, ideally in such a manner that the rule sets have no overlapping at all. Next, I'm going to demonstrate MDA 8's support of a specific data type. More precisely, it is about signals having a specific conversion method. In most cases, a numeric conversion formula is used to calculate for signals from the raw, also called implementation value, a physical value. Then there exists a conversion method in which the numeric raw value is assigned to a string. This happens by means of a verbal table. Such signals are also named enumerations. Another conversion method is characterized by separate ranges using either a numerical or a verbal conversion. Such a setup is known as nested conversion. The simplest case for a nested conversion combines one verbal and one numerical conversion range. Signals with such a conversion method are called status string refs, as the verbal values can be used to indicate specific states. MDA 8.5.5 supports status string ref signals in the oscilloscope, the table, and as input for calculated signals. I've selected 3 signals with such a conversion method. In a large area of the time range, numerical values were recorded and can be analyzed as usual. But there is an outlier for each of the signals. Initially, MDA 8 is using for the verbal value range also the numerical conversion method. Typically, the verbal values are defined at the top or bottom of the raw value range. If the numeric conversion has a monotonous behavior, this causes that the verbal values will also appear at the minimum or maximum area of the numeric scale. When a cursor is positioned on such a sample, MDA 8 switches to the verbal computation method and the respective string is shown at the cursor. Especially when you observe an unexpected behavior of a signal curve, a look into a table instrument is recommended. In the oscilloscope, typically 7 or even many samples are combined onto one vertical pixel column. But a table can display all details for each sample. Therefore, it is suited likewise for numerical and verbal values. Additionally, the table instrument reveals the precise timely order. Let's have a look into the third aspect, how MDA 8.5.5 supports status string refs. If such a signal is used as input for a calculated signal, then for every numeric input sample, the conversion into a numeric output sample can be done. But if the input sample has a verbal value, this is not possible. Accordingly, the result is flagged as no value and additionally as invalid. We are aware that the chosen method of supporting status string refs is not suited for each and every possible combination of nested conversions. Therefore, we would appreciate your feedback about the current behavior from a real user's perspective. The last section is about 2 improvements in the configuration manager. First, I'm showing how signals in no-match state can be removed more selectively. When a measure file is removed from a configuration, then all signals selected from the removed file get into a no-match state. The same can happen when a measure file is replaced by another one. Those signals for which MDA 8 cannot find any replacement, or the replacement would be ambiguous, appear in no-match state. So far, no-match signals could be removed only individually, or all at once in the configuration manager on the configuration level. With MDA 8.5.5, the removal from instrument level is enabled. Undo is supported for this operation. Further, multi-selection of instruments is possible for removing the corresponding no-matches. Moreover, the cleanup for no-match signals can be started from the layer level as well. Finally, I can present a frequently requested feature, namely replacement of signals. Possibly your configuration shows a signal in a no-match state, which you would like to replace by an available signal. The replacement operation shall be simple and the new signal shall take the former signal settings like color and so on. This can be done in MDA 8.5.5 within the Configuration Manager. Just open the context menu for the signal to be replaced. It does not matter whether it is a no-match or an available signal. With the entry Replace Signal, a similar window as for inserting signals opens. The name of the signal to be replaced is automatically copied into the search field. This allows to see immediately whether a no-match signal is missing actually or whether it could not be identified clearly. Of course, it is possible to enter another search string. When an entry in the list is clicked or confirmed using the spacebar, the replacement is conducted. Undo is possible. Often the replacement shall be done in the whole configuration and not limited to one instrument. The title bar of the Insert window provides such a possibility. By default, the present instrument is pre-selected. This setting can be changed to Everywhere. Everywhere includes all instruments on all layers, as well as input signals for calculated signals. In my example, this can be seen in the Statistics instrument. There, the signal distance is calculated from the vehicle velocity, which was the former speed signal. There is one important aspect I like to mention. When a replacement is done, not only the visible signal name is relevant. In the background, MDA 8 has to handle the name plus meta information like device, raster and others. These are needed for a unique identification according to ASM MDF standard. By selecting the signal to be replaced, one specific combination of signal name plus meta information is defined. Only the signal with this combination will be replaced, although there might be further signals with the same visible signal name. This is not an error in the replace operation. It is an essential and reasonable differentiation. If only the visible signal name would be used, signals acquired from, for example, different ECUs would be merged by the same signal and would become indistinguishable. If you intend to achieve such a signal merge, the different signals must be replaced one after another. On the present slide, an overview of all new features of MDA 8.5.5 is shown. Further details to any of the topics are given in the What's New slide set. The slide set, as well as further documentation materials, can be opened from MDA 8 directly, for example via its new homepage. Hopefully this presentation included some helpful and interesting news for your work with MDA 8. Thank you for your time and attention when watching this video.